Hey everyone, welcome back to JP's Budget Collecting in our weekly cash or trash, semi-weekly, mostly weekly, whenever I have time. Most weeks we do this. We don't do it every week. We've been a little inconsistent lately because of life. There's no way around it. But this is a show where I look at this week's hot comics from the CBSI Hot Top 10, the Comic Tom Key Collector hottest trending comics of the week, and I give my predictions that are sure to go wrong because they do. That's just the way it is. But hey, we try to learn something, see what's going on, and then in 6 months we'll see how bad I did. So we had unruly hanging out with a preemptive meh before the show even started. Appreciate that, sure. Wednesday spoiler, what is going on? Sub dollars, comics, and cars. Let's go. Oh, Cat just jumped on me, but hey, Babalax, what's going on? Scott loves comics. Big Polish guy, VV, what is going on, my friend? Actually, no, I wish it was football. It was not. It has not been football. For the most part, I've just moved it up to avoid football this year, whereas last year I just didn't do it. I did change the time a little bit. Oh, no. And I'm just going to have to ban him, I think. So there you go. Andy, what is going on? Ian, what is happening? Empire Comics, what is happening? I appreciate everyone hanging out with me on a part of their Sunday. It's always nice to know you guys are willing to listen to me ramble, so that is so nice. I always appreciate it. Hey, Phil, what's going on? So, for anybody that's new to this show, what I'm doing is I'm looking at these two lists of books. This week, there's 18 of them that were hot this week. I'm giving predictions. I'm throwing them into my categories, which, they mean something to me. And we'll see. So, these are the categories I throw these books into. We throw them into... Let's see, speaking of football stuff, wait, where is my... Oh, there it is. Throw them into straight cash, homie. Books we think are going to continue to go up in value. Even though they're hot right now, we think this is just the start. These books are going to keep going. We throw them into worth it. Books that are, it's probably a lot, but it's probably also pretty much where they're going to sit. They might even go up a little bit over the next 6 months. Most of my predictions are based on the 6 months of when I'm going to be doing my look back show, but I'll also talk about longer term trends occasionally as well. We got the I'll be back. These are books that are probably not that crazy price, but still, if you're patient, you can probably get a better deal. We got the It's a Trap books that are just, this is way too much for this book. You're going to save 30, 40, 50% if you wait and get away from whatever news or information is pushing this book at the moment. We got the Come On Mans, which is basically books that are like, why are we doing this? And last but not least, occasionally we'll throw in a dumpster fire. This is just terrible comic collector business. So there you go. So those are my categories. Let's see, we got a few more people in here. We got Pieface in here. Sam, what is going on? All right. So before we get sucked down the football talk rabbit hole, let's look at this week's books. First up, we got Strange Academy number 13, this Art Adams Magic variant. This was just a regular order. This is not an incentive. You could have ordered this. This was open order. And this book, 2 weeks out from release, is doing about $25 on the secondary market. This was on the Tom list. I think if you watch Discovery Bay's new video, it actually was on cover price as well. I haven't been looking at that one. That would be 30 books to look at. Too much. But hey, Mojo, what's going on? First appearance in the Guts. Okay, well, they didn't talk about that. What is the first appearance? I'm curious what the first appearance is. Matrix Comics, what is going on? Magic variants are, but I don't. So there's been a ton of gorgeous Magic variants in the last year and a half. Gas lamp. Okay, that doesn't say much for me. That seems like an odd first. We'll see if that character becomes anything. That name says unlikely. That's probably way too harsh to judge. Ian Moore is like, Magic's one of my favorite characters, but why? We get a meh. I know there's some big Adams fans in here. I don't. This is not one of my favorite. There's been a ton of Strange Academy Magic variants. There's been a ton of Magic variants, period, over the last couple of years. This is where I'm at right here. I'm with Pie Face on this. To me, this is. I'm gonna do an Unruly. Maybe the villain carries the book. There's all kinds of huge magic cleavage. Yeah, lots of stuff get through. I feel like she's always got cleavage going on. I could be wrong on this one. Maybe the first appearance pack I should add that to my my notes here because I did not have that first appearance. Gas lamp. I don't know. That just seems. Artemis Pierce, love this cover. I could see that. Hey, J Hood. I'm still going to put this as an I'll be back. I think this is probably a little much for this one. To me, this is, with all the great Magic covers out there, this is not that great. I know Art Adams has a strong following, but this is probably not that hard to get. Maybe the first appearance makes me wrong on this one. I'm going to stick with my initial instincts on this one and say, I'll be back for sure. All right, next up, we got High Republic number 10. High Republic Adventures number 10. Then Nicoletti Baldari 1 and 10. This one's going for $20. They even talked about it in most weeks. This wouldn't even have made the list. Kind of a cool cover. But so far, these High Republic stuff haven't really hit the mark yet. They've been pretty. There's been a lot of them have had a little bit of a peak and then backed up as we went through it. Like something a blowing problem. I do really like this cover. I love the art. I love the Yoda. This character is obviously one that they're pushing in this High Republic Adventures, which I've been enjoying all the High Republic stuff. Having said all of that, at $20 for 1 and 10, normally they got to go further. 1 and 10's got to go further to hold. My guess is this settles somewhere between 10 and 20. So above ratio, but not like crazy so. Hey, John, what is going on? So, if it was a good read, same here. I think he's talking about just enjoying the High Republic stuff. That's just my thought on this one. I do really like the cover, but it hasn't really spiked that hard. Like they said, it was marginal to make the list. I'll just put it as a simple I'll be back. I think it's going to settle 15-ish, which is down just a little bit from where it's at currently. Next, we got, all right, Moon Knight, Mark Spector Moon Knight, number 55. So maybe Dollar Bin or someone else can correct me, but I could not find this having any first appearances in it. This was just the first Stephen Platt art on Moon Knight. And there was discussion of whether it was his first Marvel art, period. We got the trailer this week. People were going after Moon Knight books. This one jumped up to 150. 9.8 hit 400. Yeah, that's general. That 3 times ratio is remarkably consistent. It's not 100%, but it's like 80, 90 on getting the 3 times ratio. It really is. Particularly on 1 in 10s, 1 in 25s, 1 in 50s, 1 in 100s vary a little more. This is true. This is true. So anyway, 150, 400. I get Stephen Platt used to be a big thing. Just the first Stephen. That was kind of my thought. Is what's going on here. I know he was huge in the 90s. Then nobody cared, and now people are kind of refinding him. That's what's been going on lately. So some of his books are coming back. I still have a hard time seeing it, but given what they'll pay for first of certain artists, my initial thought was worth it on this. Like that this one's probably going to stay around this range. I could totally see this as an I'll be back. I don't see it going way higher, but it does seem to be kind of a renaissance going on with like Platt in general. Like there's been people refinding him and Moon Knight, everything. Moon Knight covers always seem to do pretty well. Rebirth, just first Platt, Maze, Moon Knight 55 jumped this much in price. Usually runs around 50. Okay, so that's a bigger jump than what I realized, that it went to 150. So maybe it should be I'll Be Back. Maybe it settles between the 50 and 150. I'll stick with my initial estimate of worth it. So there you go. Moon Knight 55 is always my kind of, yeah. That's what I'm going to stick with. Even though it may, Sam saying it was more of a 50, ish book before. We'll see. Next, we got Deadpool, Black, White, and Blood. Number 4, the Dan Panosian, 1 in 25. This also has a first U.S. appearance of Sakura Spider. This one basically doubled this week. This book is up to over 100. So this Black's too soon. The 90s were all about, yeah, pretty much. I don't particularly love this cover. I know it's got a first in it. 110 seems crazy, but if you're talking a ratio and a first, what do we just say? The 3 times ratio usually holds better. This is 4+ times ratio. And like Dollar Bin, like Deadpool is not a high ordered. This is not a high ordered book. I'm still leaning toward I'll Be Back as opposed to Worth It, thinking that it will send you get away from the hype that if it's being driven as much by this first appearance as it is by the cover, which I think is probably a little bit what's going on here. My guess is this settles 75, 100 and not this 110 plus. Seems just a little high for me. Reminds him of Koi Fish. Interesting. Last issue. So lower print. Yeah. So even with him saying like the reasons, he's still with me on this one is, and I'll be back for sure. So there you go. Next we got what do we got? Prophet number 1. So hey Disco, what's going on? Discovery Bay, he dropped a new video this morning. You guys, if you want to like just get a recap of all these lists that I'm talking about, Disco has a really quick recap he dropped this morning. It's a cool new video. I like it. You should go check it out. So this Prophet number 1 from 2000 is just a McFarlane cover. That's what's pushing this here. There has been a resurgence of love for McFarlane covers. This is me on this one. I don't think this is a particularly good McFarlane cover. This is Prophet. People are paying $150 for this thing because it's sort of a rare McFarlane. Well, not even really rare, just random McFarlane cover. 2000 Prophet probably wasn't super high print. First Prophet 2 is Daughter in the Guts. Do we really think Prophet's going to matter? I mean, I know they're talking about doing some sort of movie. What had happened to all those Bloodshot books? Like, I don't care if this is McFarlane. This is not even good for McFarlane. It's a trap. I don't see it. I don't see this holding. It's not a particularly great McFarlane cover. It's not a particularly great character. No, I don't see it. There you go. So next, fully into the covers here, which we've been talking about. There was a bunch of covers this week. It was all covers or Disney Plus days, what these 2 lists were. So yeah, everything so far has been covers. This is still cover. There's actually like 2 of these, I guess. There's a Ken and the Ryu. This is the photo they had, so this is the one I use. These are Del Otto Virgin variants. They were limited to 400. The sets are going for, of the 2 are going for 85 to 100. Street Fighter. Does Street Fighter have enough of a thing to carry this kind of book? Yeah. There's Disco talking about his video. I don't know. The Street Fighter carries this at $85 to $100 for these guys. For the sets, that's 40 to 50 each. I know they're only limited to 400. I went a little back and forth on these, but I still put these on the I'll Be Back. I think you could probably find a deal if you're a little bit patient on these. So yeah, that's my thought on these. They're really cool. I love Del Otto, but I just don't. Street Fighter? But meh, yeah, but meh-ish. Yeah, it's been forever since I played it. I mostly played Ken, I feel like. Ken or Chun-Li. that was pretty much the ones I played. Next, we have our last of our pure covers. We got Sheena, Queen of the Jungle, #1, the Shikari variant, another limited to 500, going for 50. Okay, it's pretty. It's limited. I'd still put it as an I'll be back. I don't see where's the market for Sheena nowadays. Like this is it almost looks like a photograph. I agree. It's a really gorgeous cover, but is there enough of a market to drive it? I don't feel like there is. We'll see. I could be, like I said, these are sure to go wrong predictions. I'm still sliding it into the I'll be back range. So there you go. Next, House of Slaughter, #1, the second print, 1 per store, red foil, thank you variant. Did I get all of that out? Yeah, this is true. Jimmy and Bumps on the market. Yeah, that is the Sheena market, pretty much. So here's House of Slaughter. They put basically the second print, they did a 1 per store red foil. The first print of this was so overprinted. Like maybe some of the variants will be like super valuable, but I would guess most of the main ones will be just pretty cheap on this. All right, later, man. Go enjoy your fantasy football. So I personally only bought one. There was one variant I liked of House of Slaughter that I bought that I stumbled across. But so this red foil going for 30 to 50 out the gate, 1 per store. I want to say I'll be back. If this was any other series template, I would say I'll be back. But everything about Something is Killing the Children and House of Slaughter have defied the typical indie expectations. The fact that this is truly a limited House of Slaughter variant, which there's not a ton of, like that you could get in the stores, but was kind of limited. 30 to 50. Sam saying worth it. I actually expect this to be 6 months from now. I'm thinking unless House of Slaughter itself doesn't do well, I'm thinking it's this. I think you're looking at more of a $60 to $80 to $100 book raw. Maybe I'm way wrong on this. Maybe I'm overcompensating for how Something is Killing the Children has done and the Erica Slaughter covers have done. But yeah, this being an actual rare House of Slaughter book, I'm gonna go with it, but we don't. And I'm probably allowing Erica Slaughter love to hinder my view on this. So I could be way wrong on this. I will fully admit that I am, but this is where I'm leaning. I think this is the one of these House of Slaughter variants that I think might actually have some legs and continue to go. We'll see. We will see. I may be just overreacting to the rest of the other series. Next, we have Spawn, #165, first Mandarin Spawn. I have no idea what the heck the Mandarin Spawn is. Basically, another Spawn book with all this expanded Spawn universe that is now hitting the list. This is also starting to get into the really low print Spawn stuff. This one's going for 130 to 150 on this one. I really want to say it was sitting around 100 before this little spike. I don't get it. I don't particularly think this is one of the better of the rare Spawn covers. I kind of think this one's a little ugly, personally. Maybe this Mandarin Spawn matters. I've never even heard of him before this. This isn't Gunslinger. This isn't some of the other characters. I put this as an I'll be back. I think it settles back closer to the $100 range where it was at, as opposed to this 150 range where it's suddenly at right now. And I don't have any faith in McFarlane of actually getting any of this expanded Spawn universe to the screen or anything. Maybe we're going to get expanded comics, but I don't know. Sam would know better about Spawn than I do. I'm still going to lean toward the I'll be back because that was my initial thinking, and I'm going to stick with it. I know Spawn collectors tend to really love their books, and they tend to push them, but I feel like that's a little high. Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's settled. Like, it doesn't, like, it's not a trap. It's going to stay around that $100. I just don't think it stays around the $150 it is currently. Next, we have Dark Reign Zodiac, #1. So this is the first appearance of Zodiac. This was a character that appeared kind of in the Dark Reign run back in 2009. Basically had disappeared. I guess he reappeared in the new Moon Knight series this week, causing a little prompt in love for this character. CBSI listed prices as going from $30 to $40. Basically, Tom said they were still, like, there were a bunch of prices early in the week were still around $15. Then it jumped up toward $40. This is an I'll be back. Yeah. Hey, Perry, what is going on? Yeah. So we reintroduced the character. People are jumping on it. Doesn't mean he's going to matter. This isn't related to the Moon Knight show. This isn't I'll be back. My guess is it's back in that $10 to $15 range at the most, instead of the $30 to $40 range where it has jumped to. So yeah, that is my take on this Dark Reign Zodiac. John Posse. Collectors don't sell. Well, this is true. Well, sometimes I sell just to afford to buy more stuff. That's how I afford to buy more stuff. So, next, we have a long underrated book that is jumping because of we are sort of moving into Disney Plus Day. This one is our one Star Wars Disney Plus Day announcement. Star Wars #2, first appearance of Obi-Wan, Han, Chewie. It's always trailed further behind #1 than you would think, given those 3 first appearances, in my opinion. I don't have one, so I kind of like that. This was one I needed to get. I should have gotten sooner, but I have not. Raw copies this week are up to $200 on average. 9.8 hit $2,400. We got the series coming. It's not going to be coming till later in the year, which means I think they're saying August. So 6 months from now, we're talking May, June, late May, early June. We'll probably be getting a trailer. So we're going to be like really in the run up to the show at that point. So yeah, as Unreally just said, I think it's going to be significantly higher by then. It might have a lull between now and then, but by then I would guess we're going to run up to the show and they will. Yeah, there you go. That's right. They reinvest. That this will be going up. Yeah, agreed. I mean, you might find some deals between now and then. Like, you can find some deals on #1 here in the last year if you were really patient. But yeah, it's went up and it's going to probably stay up. Next, we have not Disney Plus Day. I kind of got these out of order. This one should have been in front of that one, but that's okay. We got Hit Monkey #1 from the limited series. So there was a one-shot. That book has jumped out of range for a bunch of people. So this is the series, second appearance of Hit Monkey. Basically, the show is getting really good reviews. So now this one has jumped up to $25 to $30. Here's my thought on this. Even though the show is really good, looking at what we've seen on the Disney Plus stuff on Marvel, 6 months from now, you're going to be between seasons. Hang on one second. Sorry, I woke up the dog with that sneeze. So he's liable to start barking now. Anyway, you get 6 months away from this. This is an I'll be back for sure, even as good as the show has supposedly been. I haven't watched it yet. Need to, because I do have Hulu. So, but yeah, definitely an I'll be back. And the dog is now over here like, hey, pay attention to me. You woke me up with your sneeze. So, We'll see how well the rest of this goes with the dog like up and active. Next, we got Fantastic Four, Ultimate Fantastic Four, number 21, the cameo of the Marvel Zombies. We're getting to basically all this is Disney Plus. They're talking about doing a Marvel Zombies cartoon. So this caused this book to jump again. Raw copies 25, 9.8250. He's laid back down, so maybe we'll get by hear me still talking. Here's the thing. I'm not a huge fan of the Marvel Zombies, so this is probably completely biasing my thought process. And yet I'm still going to say, because we're probably at least a year from this, like if they're just now announcing, now maybe they've already been working on it and we're just not getting the announcement. But we're ways out. I'm going to put it as an I'll be back because of that. I think you can find some deals, but maybe these zombies things just take off. I would be a little surprised by that. This book has kind of been a yo-yo as we've had like, oh, there's going to be Marvel zombie stuff. So I think it continues to kind of do that. So Jay Hood did not like the animation either. There you go. Not a big fan of the anime. And I do get it. The animation has definitely changed a little bit. It's not quite as smooth. I don't know. Or maybe it's too smooth. I'm not sure exactly how to explain it. But yeah. Yeah, if you can still find it in back issue bins for cover or cheap, then you're probably doing good here. But next we got, where are we at? I've lost track. Moon Knight, number 188. We just talked about this on the look back because 6 months ago when Ethan Hawke got cast, people were specking this is who he is. First appearance of the Sun King, Amon-Ra's avatar. People are thinking this is Ethan Hawke's character in Moon Knight. We still don't know. He could be multiple different characters. This one's back up to $20. We're still a ways out from the show. If this is him, then this is straight cash. Like in the timeline that we're talking about, because I think Moon Knight is supposed to be late spring. You guys correct me if I'm wrong on that. Like should be around the time 6 months from now. Should be around the time the Moon Knight show's coming. I think maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's sooner. I forget. My timeline may be screwed up there, but I thought it was going to be She-Hulk, Moon Knight, Miss Marvel. Maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong on that. Anyway, timing-wise, makes me think there's a chance. If it hits, this will go up. If it doesn't hit, this is going to crash. Overall, I'm just going to say I'll be back. Look for a deal. So that's really what I'm saying here is because we don't know. People are specking out right now. Just be patient. See if you can find it for cheap. If you really want to spec on this character. Once we get the show, obviously, once we know, then like this book will either take off or it's going to if he shows up, it's this, like compared to the $20, right, that it's going for, it's way straight cash compared to the $20 if he shows up. If this is who he's playing. If this is not who he's playing, this book is worthless. So that's why I would continue to try to look for a deal. This run though. All right, next we got where are we at? More Fantastic Four. Oh yes, more Disney Plus Day. We got re-announced of we got a logo for Agatha Harkness, the House of Harkness. So this book is back on the list again. This book has been on and off the list. Now, this is interesting. This book jumped a ton when WandaVision came out. It then pretty much crashed during the summer. And then we got the announcement that, oh, wait, they're going to bring her back. We're getting House of Harkness a few weeks ago. So this book has been spiking again. It's still not quite to where it was during WandaVision, but it's close at this point. And we know we're getting the show. So... but we're ways out from the show. My guess is you will be able to get a deal on this. I'm going to say, again, I'll be back on this one. Raw copies right now are 615. 9.0 hit 1,100, which is basically back to where it was during the height of WandaVision. I would just continue to be, this is still, all of these show stuff just seems like they've been very, if you can avoid the news, if you can avoid announcements and the actual run of the show, You can get these characters for less. Look at like the Loki stuff. Look at the Falcon and the Winter Soldier book and characters. You can do so much better right now on those books. I think the same thing is going to be with Agatha. I think it's going to stay higher than it was obviously before, but love the actress is great. I expect the show to be really good. I just think that you're going to be able to find things. I'll be honest, like if you've been looking, like Monica Rambeau's books, much more affordable right now. And we know she's coming back. Even the She-Hulk books, while they're up overall, they've had some lulls where you can find some deals if you're patient and looking. They are definitely back down some from some of the early announcements. So I think you got time here. I think you can find this for less. Next, we got... Ooh, that's the wrong button. Daredevil, number 9, first appearance of Echo. We got a logo for the Echo show. We knew we were getting a show. Plus, she's supposed to appear here sometime in the next couple of weeks on Hawkeye. So that's where she's supposed to make her debut. So this book is really hot right now. Raw copies are averaging around 165. 9.8s are going for $700 to $800 mark. So here's my thought on this. We know we're getting a show. Still only sitting about 900 or 800 on a 9.8. Raw copies are still sitting 165. She's about to appear. My guess is we'll get a bump when she appears here. When she finally actually shows up, we'll get a bump. Even though we all know she's showing up. But what's the ceiling on this? I feel like the fact that we're still setting it under $1,000 on a 9.8, my guess is the ceiling is $1,000. My guess is like maybe it goes over $1,000 slightly when she actually appears. Maybe right in the run-up to the show, if she's popular, and then right in the run-up to the show, it goes back over $1,000. But between now and then, I feel like we're setting it about the ceiling on this book. I feel like at this point, there's not much room to move here. So as a result, I would just be patient. I'll come back. If you're interested in Echo, even if you like the show, I think if you're patient, you can do better. I feel like this book has got to be setting. The fact that it didn't go any higher than this, this is basically where it's been for a little while. It's been some lulls, but it's basically been in this $800, this $700, $800 range. I don't think it, like when she actually appears, I don't think it spikes to a new level and that doesn't come back. I think it hits maybe $1,000, maybe $1,200. And then as you move away from her, it's back down in this range or lower. That is my opinion. Yeah. It's like, no, buy mine now. Might have to break his run. Yeah, the cover, I actually like the 10 is, to me, the better looking book for sure. But yeah. All right, 2 books left. A little nostalgia going on right here. We got the announcement that they're going to continue the XMen cartoon from the 90s, only they're going to be like make it more adult, where they don't have to follow Saturday morning cartoon rules. So there's going to be death, and like where they couldn't when they did Dark Phoenix, they couldn't kill Jean. Like now they would have. It's basically what they're saying, and there's probably going to be some deaths going forward. I remember this cartoon. I know a ton of people that are huge fans of this one. I haven't watched it in forever. Like $25 for this, their first comic appearance, $400 for a 9.8. The nostalgia is real on this one, but it's a cartoon. I'll be back. We got a while. You're going to be able to find things. Is cheeked up still, yeah. So the things. Okay, I'm gonna be like probably shouted out as a troll. Theme song might be the best part of the show, like because it was just so catchy. It was so like I don't even think it's particularly like good in terms of like I think the Batman animated series theme song is better, but it's not catchier. It's so catchy. It's so like you hear it and you instantly know. So maybe that does make it better than the Batman the animated thing. Like you just instantly know what it is. It's just like drill into your brain. but like to me, not that it made the show, but in a lot of ways, it helped make the show because it was so catchy. That's just my thing. But I know a ton of people, this was their introduction to the X-Men. I knew who the X-Men were, but I watched more of this. Yeah. Yeah. Well, supposedly that's what they're saying. We'll see. No, I never watched so much, but I know the theme song. Yeah. Hey, man, music, what's going on? But it's X-Men. Yeah. Blasphemy. I'm getting yelled at. But at 25 for raw copies, 40 for a 9.8. I would say raw copies are probably worth it. I would say the 400 for 9.8 is probably a little high. I'd call this an I'll be back. The Japanese version. I need to go back and watch it. It is on Disney Plus. I need to go back and watch. Maybe I don't remember it. Like I went back and watched Batman the Animated Series, and it still holds up. I need to go back and see if this actually holds up because I don't know because I have not checked it out. So it'll be interesting. So yeah, like I was in high school and into like college by the time it ended. So yeah, so maybe I was just a little old. Themes and the babes. There you go. All right, last book. So technically a little bit of Spider-Man, not really spoilers, but it's trailer stuff. So I'm putting it at the end. I'm giving John, who's been avoiding all the Spider-Man stuff that he can, a chance to get out. Because it is related to something you see in the trailer. I'm going to state right up front, I am pissed at how much they've given away of what the movie is. I'll talk about that on my whatever report tonight because I'm going to rant for a little bit about how much they've given away and how much people are driving to get information on this have sort of ruined this movie for me. I'm sort of not really that interested anymore. I'll be honest. I'm not going to talk about the specifics. I'm just going to talk about the way I feel like they've sort of ruined it. But anyway, so John, your chance to get out before I show this last book, if you haven't heard or talked about it. So here we go. Last book, Symbiote Spider-Man Alien Reality number 3. Excuse me. So basically, this book, Spider-Man becomes Doctor Strange's apprentice, which if you've seen anything, you know, I'm surprised it hasn't hit before this. This jumped up to $20 to $200. I don't think he's going to truly become his apprentice, but we do see him basically sort of using magical items and doing sort of magic in the trailer a little bit. So that's why this book hit. This is 150% and I'll be back. If it was a little more valuable, I would call it a trap. I don't see this long term. Personally, I'll save my rant for how they've handled Peter in the MCU for tonight. But yeah, I'm just going to say, to me, this is absolutely, and I'll be back for sure. And if it was any more expensive than this $20, I would say it's a trap. So that is my take. Those are all the books this week. I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me. We've done this for about 40 minutes. You guys are awesome. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. We'll be back tonight with the whatever report. No D&D right now. We're between games. We will have one next week, I think. I think we're doing a little one-off Battle Royale D&D thing. This week, Lock and Key, Volumes 4 and 5 tomorrow night for the indie show. And that's probably about it till next weekend with the holidays and everything else. So want to thank you guys for watching, and we will catch you next time. Newbie, you're here just right at the end. Thanks for stopping by, though. So, all right. Later, everybody. Oop, wrong.